My little brother bet me $100 I couldn't survive a whole month at a new job without correcting anyone about my job title, and by the end of it, I'd accidentally helped bring down a regional manager. It started at Thanksgiving. Marcus, 3 years younger and permanently convinced he's smarter than me, said I was too proud to let people misunderstand me for money. He'd watched me correct a waiter's math down to the penny once, and never let it go. $100, 1 month, whatever people assumed about me at my new job, I had to let it ride. I'd just gotten hired as a claims processor at a regional insurance branch. I said fine. Day 1, the office manager handed me a badge that read, Front Desk Temp, instead of my actual title. I opened my mouth to correct her, then I thought about Marcus's stupid smug face and closed it. Thanks, I said instead. For the first week, it was harmless. People dropped files on my desk assuming I was covering reception. I filed them anyway correctly, because leaving work undone felt worse than the lie. A woman named Renata started bringing me her lunch order request because she thought front desk handled that too. I started keeping snacks in my drawer just to seem competent at a job I didn't have. The real shift happened on day 9. My actual supervisor, a distracted regional director named Wade, who split his time between 3 branches, had no idea what I looked like yet. He'd hired me over video call and only ever emailed. Meanwhile, the entire office treated me like furniture that happened to answer emails. And when people think you're furniture, they stop performing for you. I started hearing things. A senior adjuster named Pella complaining on the phone about backdating the Simmons file before the audit. 2 coworkers laughing quietly about a batch of denied claims that got undenied once a specific name showed up attached to them. I didn't understand insurance well enough yet to know if it was normal shady or actually illegal shady, so I just wrote it down at night, the way you write down a dream so you don't lose it. By week 2, the numbers I processed during the day stopped matching the numbers people casually mentioned in the break room. Claims marked closed that were still open in my queue. A vendor code that kept appearing on unrelated files, always approved by the same manager, always just under the threshold that required a second signature. Week 3, it started collapsing quietly. One adjuster got reassigned overnight with no goodbye. Pella stopped making eye contact with anyone. Wade finally showed up in person for a surprise site visit and walked right past my desk twice without recognizing me, because in his head I was still a name on a hiring email, not a face. On day 26, Renata sat on the edge of my desk like she'd been meaning to for a while. You're not front desk, she said. You've been fixing my error reports for weeks. Front desk doesn't know what a loss ratio is. I told her everything. The bet, the badge, all of it. She didn't laugh either. She just said, show me what you've been writing down. I turned my notebook around. The backdated file, the vendor code, the threshold pattern. She went very quiet, then very fast. Within an hour, she'd looped in Wade directly. No chain of command, no appointment. The next day, 2 people from corporate risk showed up in the small conference room nobody used, along with a woman in a blazer who introduced herself only as outside counsel. They kept me for 4 hours. I gave them dates, the vendor code pattern, screenshots I'd been quietly backing up out of pure nervous habit. The regional manager who'd approved the vendor code was gone within the week. Pella took a voluntary leave that fooled nobody. When it settled, 6 people across 2 branches had lost their jobs, and Wade, visibly rattled that a fraud scheme had run 3 feet from a desk he'd never bothered to visit, asked me point blank what my actual title was supposed to be. Claims processor, I said. You hired me. You've just never met me. He laughed once, humorlessly, then offered me a promotion to fraud review on the spot. Marcus paid me in wrinkled 20s he clearly pulled from 3 different pockets, still insisting I'd technically cheated because nobody learning my job wasn't the same as nobody learning my name. Renata learned my real name on day 26. The company newsletter, when it finally recognized me for the fraud catch 2 months later, spelled it with an extra letter, and somehow that felt exactly right.